Hey guys, happy Saturday. Welcome to today's video, which is Winter Gourmands. If you're new to this channel, let me tell you something about myself. I'm a huge gourmand lover. So much so that I cannot do all of my gourmand fragrances in one video. I just did 25 vanilla fragrances. Many of them, or most of them, I would consider gourmand perfumes. But there are a lot of other fragrances I love to wear in the winter that are considered gourmand fragrances that I haven't spoken about in maybe close to a year. Before I get started, if you have any winter gourmand fragrances that you love to wear, I would love to hear about it in the comment section. And with that, let's just get started. So the first one I'm going to start with is a fragrance I know I haven't spoken about in over a year. Cabanel getting a lot of attention because this is a beautiful fall and winter gourmand that is very unique by a house that I love, Cabanel. So to me, this is like an orange cinnamon coffee mocha mixed with the buttery crisp topping of a croissant served with a dose of caramel. That's kind of what I think this perfume is. It is sweet and buttery. There is a caramel sweetness in here for sure, but to me it never goes into the cloying territory. There is definitely something very coffee-like about it. I get more of a milky coffee, like a orange cinnamon coffee mocha. The coffee's not super overpowering and it's just the way I like it. There are florals in here. This is not an overly floral perfume, but it does get powdery in the dry down, which I think is from the heliotrope in here. Heliotrope is a very powdery floral. Gorgeous perfume. This one lasts forever on me. This is a strong performer, particularly if you spray it on clothes. 8 to 10 hours. Easy. The next one I picked up is Lait de Vanille. Ooh, do I love this perfume. So this has 3 notes listed: vanilla, caramel, and benzoin, but what that translates into is a fluffy marshmallow cookie dipped in honeyed milk. And that's what I get when I smell this fragrance and when I wear this perfume. It's very sweet, very gourmandy, so I am easy on the trigger. This is one, even though it's a very light perfume and does not last longer than 4 hours, if you spray too much, it can get cloying because it is sweet. It has a lot of sweet notes. That being said, it is a decadent gourmand perfume that I love to wear around the house. This one, even though it does wear light, if you spray too much, I would say if you spray 20 times, it's going to get a little bit cloying. I would say I spray around half that and it's not overpowering, but it's the only way I can get it to last longer than 4 hours. When I pair it with the body lotion, I can get 8 to 10 hours with this one. So a lovely, sweet, gourmandy, lactonic, dessert-like perfume that I love to wear in the cold months. Okay, the next one is a perfume that was in one of my very first videos, and it is definitely a love or a hate. I know other people who love this fragrance, and I know other people who hate it. It's one or the other. There's no middle ground. It is my Bond No. 9, New Bond Street. I have some difficulty with some nutty perfumes. Nutty perfumes don't always work for me. This is a fragrance that has a very prominent nutty note, but I absolutely love it. Oh my gosh! It's also very milky, very lactonic. So milk and nuts can be like somebody's kryptonite. But for me, it works. So it's very lactonic. It is a milky, toasted chestnut, cacao, vanilla perfume. There is pepper in the first few sprays. For the first several minutes, you're gonna get a little blast of pepper. That does fade a little bit with time, with some cacao, vanilla. There's patchouli in the dry down. There's sandalwood. That sandalwood kind of adds smoothness, woodiness, anchors it as a gourmand. But I just love this. And I fell in love with this when it first came out. I would happen to be in downtown Chicago at the time. I walked into a very nice department store. I wanna say it was Bergdorf's. Anyway, I was smelling all the Bond No. 9s and the sales associate showed me this one and I was like, oh my gosh, I have to have this. This is amazing. And it was like really expensive. It was over $400 at the time and I walked out and never got it. Fast forward a year, it started popping up on the gray market and I picked up a bottle for, I don't know, maybe around, definitely less than 150 bucks. And I bought 2. I bought a backup. I loved it so much and didn't want to be without it in case it got discontinued. And the fact that the price dropped so precipitously in 1 year tells me it wasn't a great seller. It is for a small subset of you guys like me, that think this is fantastic. And I know my friend Melissa and my friend G love this perfume. So it's either love or hate. And this one's pretty long lasting on me. I could get it pretty much all day, particularly when I spray on my clothes. Yummy goodness for some of you. The next one is a perfume I just talked about in my longest lasting perfumes. This is one of my longest lasting gourmands. It is a vanilla caramel bomb. It is Unknown Pleasures, one of my favorite gourmands, but you must like lemon. It also has a very prominent tea note, so it's Earl Grey tea, lemon, very prominent on the caramel, and I think there's a waffle note. So even though the lemon's really strong, it's very sweet. So it's sweet and strong. Definitely get kind of a stroopwafel thing going on here. Stroopwafel is a thin cookie from the Netherlands that has like 2 thin waffle cone crisps with a sliver of caramel in the center. So I definitely get this stroopwafel. So it's like a lemon curd stroopwafel milky tea. It's absolutely phenomenal. This is a bomb. This lasts all day. My family picks up different things when I wear this. My daughter says I smell like a coconut cookie, and my husband says I smell like Thai food. So there's definitely somebody's picking up something coconutty in here. But one of my favorite gourmands, and I really only wear this in the wintertime, even though I'm quite sure I could wear it in the warmer months. I just don't. It's just great. Normally I have 4 lights on me. I just turned 3 of them off, and I'm just going with the outside sun. This is almost like being outside again in the summer. So the next 2 that I picked are, one is a fragrance I've never talked about, and another I've only spoken about one time. So the next one is in a bottle that's one of my favorite bottles, but it is by an Italian brand. And ever since visiting Italy this summer, I have a great love and respect for Italian brands. And this is Panettone by Milano Fragranze. This is a perfume that does remind me of Christmas because a panettone is an Italian sweetbread. It's very bready, but it has a ton of citrusy freshness in it. So there is bitter orange, there's mandarin and ginger. So I get mostly ginger and like an orangey, citrusy freshness. There is a little bit of rum in here, but this is not boozy at all. Just a splash of some rummy warmth, I will say. There is also a note of Immortelle in here, which can be hit or miss. But Immortelle to me smells like hay or honey. So I'm getting a little bit of like a honeyed hay in here. And that kind of goes along with turning something into a bready perfume. So this is sweet, but those citruses and ginger keep it from being too sweet or too cloying, not at all. And performance is really good. 6 to 8 hours solid on this. I love this perfume. The next one is one I've only spoken about one time. I believe it's called Indochine 25 by Pierre Guillaume. Oh my gosh, this smells so good. So this is a spiced, honeyed, resinous gourmand with a touch of black pepper. Very unique. So what this smells like to me is, and there goes all my natural lighting. Anyways, maybe I should turn on my other light. This to me smells like you had a stack of pancakes on a plate. You poured maple syrup on that stack of pancakes, and the pancakes are gone. Everyone's eating the pancake, and what is left is a little bit of the pancake and kind of that syrup on the plate. So that's what this smells like, particularly in the opening and the mid. It does have a little bit of booziness, another one that has rum in it, and it has, I want to say, sandalwood or some sort of special wood in the base that gives it kind of a sweet woodiness in the dry down. This is a gourmand, but it's not too gourmandy. It's a nicely balanced gourmand in my opinion, and this one is a little bit on the light side. 4 to 6 hours for this gorgeous one. If I wasn't already wearing a perfume, I would spray that one. Okay, the next 3 I grabbed, I'm gonna start with one of the very few coffee perfumes I have. I bought this perfume and I really didn't feel like I needed any more coffee fragrances. This is basically the only coffee perfume I want, and it's a sweet gourmandy coffee fragrance done to perfection as long as you like sweet fragrances. It is Coffee Addict by Theodoros Kalatinas. This one actually made my smell expensive on a budget because this perfume, even though it runs around 50-55 euros, I got it on sale. It smells like a very expensive niche perfume. And all the notes listed: coffee, vanilla, caramel, and cacao. That's it. I can smell all of those notes. So it smells like if you had a cafe mocha and you cooked it to the point of almost being burned. So this is like a cafe mocha espresso. It's very deep, almost to the point of being burned. And you added caramel swirl and a big dollop of vanilla whipped cream. That's what you would smell here. It's very deep and rich and sweet. I'm over on Instagram a lot and I see a lot of people show several different types of coffee perfumes. I literally do not feel like I never purchased another coffee perfume after I got this one. This one, I'm done. And I don't, in general, want to smell like coffee. I love to drink coffee. I drink coffee all day, but I don't want to smell it. But when I do want to smell like coffee or something very decadent, a caramel coffee espresso latte with vanilla, this is the only one I need, and it is incredibly affordable. Incredible lasting power as well. So the next one I grabbed is Wicked Good, and it is wicked good, just like the name says. This is a very simple gourmand. It's got 3 notes listed: chocolate, vanilla bean, and tonka. It is a very linear gourmand, but it is delicious. When something is this delicious, it doesn't need to be super complicated. So what I get, yeah, it's just simplistic goodness. It is a milk chocolate bar in the beginning. I get a nice simple milk chocolate bar with tonka in the background, and the more it dries down, it gets more vanillic on me. So it starts off much more chocolatey, it swings into that tonka bean, and then it dries down more of a vanilla-based fragrance, even though I can still smell the chocolate. This one is just a delicious chocolate perfume. It's not overly sweet and it's not too chocolatey. So if you don't like your chocolate fragrances to be too gourmandy, you may enjoy this, although it is absolutely an unmistakable gourmand on me. It's not too light and it's not too heavy. It sits somewhere right in the middle. I would call this a moderate performer. And the last one is one I've spoken about before. It is one of I think this also made my video Smell Expensive on a Budget. I got this entire huge bottle for less than $50. Fresh Cream by Philosophy. Creamy, milky, powdery vanilla with the slightest hint of a floral note, and I mean slightest hint. This is an unmistakable lactonic gourmand. So if you're one of those out there and you always tell me in the comments that these milky perfumes go sour, this is probably one you want to stay away from. Fortunately, I don't have that problem. I don't have the problem with milky fragrances going sour on me. And when I tend to wear milky fragrances, it's in the winter, and I tend to spray a lot on my clothes as well. To make it simple, this is like sweetened condensed milk with whipped cream. It's not a powerhouse. It doesn't last forever. One of my very favorite fragrances to layer when I want to bring out a little bit of kind of vanillic, creamy sweetness. This is the one I go for. Fantastic on its own or layered. Okay, I've got the next 3. Let's just start with this one, Commodity Milk. This is a sweet, very musky, very milky, woody vanilla with tonka and marshmallow. When I sprayed this for the first time, it reminded me a lot of Velvet Tonka by BDK. That one went in the wrong direction. That one, after the first 5 minutes, went sour on me, and I almost bought it. Thankfully, I didn't. This one, however, does not go sour on me and just smells delicious throughout the entire wear. This one is very tonka forward. You must like tonka to appreciate this. It has a marshmallowy sweetness. It also has a nice warmth to it from whatever woody note is in here. It anchors it and gives it some nice warmth. If it weren't for the woody notes in here, this would be too sweet, even for me. I could swear I'd pick up some sort of ambroxan. There is something ambroxan-y in here, and just a tad synthetic, but in a good way, but in the best way possible. So a very decadent, thick, rich, marshmallowy, tonka, vanilla, woody perfume that has a musky, woody dry down that I love. This one, I have to go easy on the trigger. Very loud, very strong. Okay, so the next one is one that I have spoken about. It is one of the best gourmands and one of the best gourmands for non-gourmand lovers. I think if you don't like your perfumes to be too sweet and foody, this one is done really well. But for gourmand lovers like myself, I appreciate this one just as much. It is Minuit et Demi, a fantastically done gourmand perfume. This walks that gourmand tightrope very, very well, because even though it is clearly a gourmand perfume, it never veers off into that too sticky sweet territory. So the cardamom, coffee, vanilla, and caramel are just done so proportionately. There's a little bit of a pimento leaf in here, not very strong at all. I think it gives it a little bit of a green freshness. So there are a lot of sweet notes in here, but the cedar, the vetiver, and the tobacco pull it back and pull it out of that too sweet category. So it's a nicely balanced gourmand. I had people in the comment section complain about longevity. I don't have any problem with longevity. This one I would say is a moderate performer, at least solid 4 to 6 hours for sure. And the last one of this trio, this one, for purposes of transparency, this one was gifted to me at the end of the summer in August. I'm very grateful for all of the PR I've gotten over the past year. Some of the PR hasn't been great. Some of the PR hasn't been up my alley. This one was so good, it made me start to explore the brand because this was so fantastic. It is called Destin Des Anges. This is a fantastic gourmand. And after I got this one, PR, I placed several orders because I wanted to explore the brand, and through the UK distributor, I've made several purchases on my own, and every single person I've sent a sample of this to has loved it. And I can think of 3 of my friends that purchased a bottle from the sample I sent them, including one of my pickiest friends, Susan out there. If you're out there and you like it, you better leave a comment. This is absolutely for gourmand lovers. Now on the flip side, if you don't like your fragrances to be too foodie, too sweet, or too gourmandy, you may not like this, or you probably won't. It might be just too sweet for you, but it is a fantastic gourmand for those of us who love sweet perfumes. So this to me is like an orange pound cake with marbleized chocolate and caramel drizzled on the top. So the notes in here to make up that deliciousness, you've got chocolate, orange, there's vanilla, caramel, a little tonka, there is patchouli in the dry down, there's a little bit of ambroxan, and of course, if I didn't mention it already, vanilla. So I have worn this to work a couple times. It is sweet, but it's not overpowering as long as I don't overspray. And what I get from people, from my friends, my coworkers, is that you smell like vanilla. I smell vanilla with some fruity freshness. So clearly other people are getting that orange sweetness, which does not last forever. I would say as this dries down, the orange freshness and sweetness dries down. The chocolate I can absolutely smell for at least 2 hours, then it dries down into a very nice vanilla pound cake. Delicious gourmand, and was the reason that I started to explore this brand for all their offerings. Very few of their fragrances have not been my cup of tea, and those are mainly some of their more masculine leaning fragrances, their ouds and some of their leathery, woody perfumes, but a few of their offerings have been some of my favorite fragrances of this year. Okay, I have 4 more perfumes to go, but I think I'm just gonna do 2 more and call it a day and put the other 2 perfumes in another video. So why don't we do my fragrance of the day? My perfume of the day is Italica. When I first sprayed this was a blind buy a while ago, right when it came out. I thought, could this possibly be the best gourmand fragrance ever? And then 30 minutes later, I couldn't smell it. I was devastated. I became a nosmic because I would wear this and other people would smell this on me several hours later. Someone suggested that I layer this with the Laura Mercier Almond Coconut Body Cream. I wear those 2 together and somehow it lasts all day, which is an expensive way to make an expensive fragrance last all day. However, I had a gift card to Nordstrom's, that's why I bought the body cream. Otherwise, this one would have been in big trouble of decluttering, but I'm glad I kept it. It is delicious. And for whatever reason, I've been wearing it for about 3 hours and I can still smell it on me. To me, this is like a sweet almondy, marzipan, toffee biscotti that is slightly offset by the note of saffron. The saffron is very, very prominent here. There's also toffee in here, so there's a little, like you're in a coffee shop and you're eating a toffee marzipan biscotti and sipping some sort of decadent milky coffee drink, because this is lactonic to me as well, and it may have milky notes. Anyways, gorgeous perfume. I wish it lasted longer. some people tell me it lasts like 12 hours on them. So clearly my nose is anosmic, and I bought this from the Xerjoff website, so I know this is a legit perfume. Interestingly enough, like I said, I can still smell it, and I've been wearing it for 3 or 4 hours. So maybe I was anosmic to it at first, and the longer I wear it, I've had it for almost 2 years now. No, I've had it at least a year. The longer I have it, the less anosmic I get to it. And the last one will end with this cute little beauty, Douceur Brûlée by Kais Perfumes. This one I grabbed out of my daughter's room, and she has made a nice dent in this perfume. She basically smells like you made French toast, and when you're making the French toast batter, you put lemon rind or lemon juice. So this is a lemon French toast that has been gently bruleed on top, so like a crusty caramelized topping. So the notes in here are, there's caramel, there's benzoin, beeswax, lemon, and some musk. I'm not sure about woody notes. Don't really smell anything woody. There might be some woody notes in the base, but a very fun, whimsical gourmand for those of you who really like to smell like some decadent lemony French toast with a bruleed crunchy caramel topping. And that'll do it for my winter gourmand picks. The ones I didn't talk about, I'll put them in another video. I'm planning on making lots of videos this week as we wind out the year. And as my battery camera is flashing at me, I better wind down this one. So thank you again for sticking around. Thank you for watching. If I didn't mention any of your favorite winter gourmands, drop them in the comments below. And with that, I will see you on the next one.
We got much more to do while we are in a prime. Yeah. Stop trying to change who you are.